In this tutorial video, I shall explain some topics from chapter Circle. So, watch the complete video. Now let us see the very first topic of this chapter. Circle. A circle is a collection of all points in a plane which are at a constant distance from a fixed point. The constant distance is called the radius and the fixed point is called the center of a circle. Let us consider this figure. Here, this point O is termed as the center of a circle, and the distance from this point O, or we can say center, to the edge of circle is termed as radius. The radius of circle is always equal. This line is also representing the radius. This line is also representing the radius. This line is also representing the radius. So according to the definition, a circle is a collection of all points in a plane which are at a constant distance from a fixed point. It means the distance of its edges are constant from this fixed point center. Now let us have the next point, secant. A line which intersects a circle in two distinct points is called a secant to the circle. Let us consider a circle with center O. Here a line is intersecting this circle at two distinct points. The first point is A while the second point is B. So this line, suppose the name of this line is L. This line L is intersecting this circle at two distinct points, at point A and B. So this line is termed as secant. Now let us see the next topic, tangent. A line meeting a circle only in one point is called a tangent to the circle at that point. Let us consider a circle with center O. Here O is the center of this circle. Now let us consider a line which touches this circle, or in another word we can say that a line meeting a circle only in one point. This line is touching the circle at this one point. So the name of this line is tangent. Now the next topic is chord. A chord of a circle is a line segment joining any two points on the circle. So let us consider this circle with center O, and let us consider a line segment which is joining two points on the circle. Suppose the very first point on the circle is A while the another point on the same circle is B. This line segment AB is joining points A and B in the circle. So this line is termed as chord. Now let us see the next topic of the same chapter, circumference. The perimeter of a circle is called its circumference, or in another word, the distance of the outer boundary of a circle is called the circumference. So let us consider this circle with center O. Here the distance of its outer boundary is termed as circumference or perimeter. Now the next topic is diameter. A diameter is a chord of a circle passing through the center of the circle. So here we have to consider a circle with center O. Here O is the center of the circle, and this line is touching the circle at two distinct points by crossing the center. So this line segment is termed as chord. So here according to the definition, a diameter is a chord of a circle passing through the center of the circle. So this line is passing through the center, hence it is termed as diameter. Now the next topic is concentric circle. Circles which have the same center and different radii are called concentric circles. Let us consider a circle and one more circle. Here both the circles are having the common center. First circle is having the center O, while the second circle is also having the center O. But the radius of both the circles are different. The radius of inner circle is this one. We can represent this one with a small r, while the radius of outer circle I am representing with capital R. So here the radius of both the circles are different. Hence, we can say that these two are the concentric circles. Once again, let us see the definition. Circles which have the same center, or we can say having the common center, but different radii are called concentric circles. Now the next topic is semicircle. A diameter of a circle divides it into two equal arcs. Each of these two arcs is called a semicircle. So let us consider a circle, and this line is termed as diameter because it is crossing the center of the circle, or we can say it passes through the center of circle. This chord is dividing the whole circle into two equal arcs. The first arc is here from here to here, and the second arc is here. Each of these two arcs are termed as semicircle. So this is the first arc, this is the second arc. These two are termed as semicircle. Now the next topic is segment of a circle. The part of the circular region bounded by an arc and a chord, including the arc and the chord, is called a segment of the circle. So let us consider a circle with center O. Now consider one chord. Suppose this AB is representing the chord of the circle. This line segment is representing the chord of the circle, while this AB is representing the arc of the circle. So according to the definition, the part of the circular region bounded by an arc and a chord, including the arc and the chord, is called the segment. So this area is termed as segment of the circle. This is called the minor segment. One more segment we are having by the same chord AB and arc this AB. So second segment we are having here, this is called the major segment. So whenever we are talking about a chord divides a circle into two different segments. First one is termed as the minor segment, while another one is termed as the major segment. But if the chord is a diameter, then that diameter will divide the whole circle into two equal segments, and that is termed as semicircle. Now let us have the next topic, that is sector of a circle. The region enclosed by an arc of a circle and its two bounding radii is called the sector of a circle. So let us consider a circle with center O. So according to the definition, the region enclosed by an arc of a circle and its two bounding radii is called the sector. So we have to draw two different radii. Let us consider the very first radius, and this is the second radius. So the area bounded by these two radii and this arc is termed as sector of the circle. So here this red line is representing the sector of the circle. This is the minor sector of the circle, and one more sector we are having by these two radii, and that is the major sector of the circle. So this is the major sector of the circle. Now the next topic is quadrant of a circle. 1/4 of a circle is called a quadrant. Means the 1/4 part of a circle is termed as quadrant. Let us consider a circle with center O. if we are dividing this circle into 4 equal parts by the diameter. So we have divided this whole circle into 4 equal parts. So this first part is termed as the quadrant of the circle. Now let us see the next topic, cyclic quadrilateral. A quadrilateral is said to be cyclic if all its vertices lie on a circle. Points lying on a circle are said to be concyclic. So let us consider a circle, and here we are having a quadrilateral. All the 4 vertices of the quadrilateral, suppose this is vertex A of quadrilateral, this is vertex B of quadrilateral, this is vertex C of the same quadrilateral, and this is vertex D. All the 4 vertices of this quadrilateral touching the circle. Hence, this type of quadrilateral is said to be cyclic quadrilateral. And the points lying on a circle, all these points are said to be concyclic because all these 4 points are lying on the circle. Hence, this is termed as concyclic.
Now let us consider the very first theorem of the chapter, circle. Length of tangents drawn from the external point to a circle are equal. So according to this theorem, it is given that if we draw tangents to the circle from the external point, then the length of tangents will be equal. So first of all, we will consider a circle, and suppose point P is external point of the circle, and from this point P we are drawing 2 tangents to the circle. The name of first tangent is A, while the name of second tangent is B. So here we have to prove that the length of these 2 tangents means PA is equals to PB. Let us consider O is the center of this circle. Now let us see how to prove this theorem. First of all, we have to write the given. In given, we have to write down PA and PB are 2 tangents drawn from the same external point P to circle with center O. So here we can write PA and PB are 2 tangents drawn from same external point P. After given, we have to write to prove what we are going to prove. In to prove, we can write here, since we are going to prove PA is equals to PB. So here in to prove, we can write PA is equals to PB. After that, we have to add one more step, that is called construction. In construction, we have to join O to A, O to B and O to P also. So we are going to join O to A, O to B and O to P also. So here we can write, we join O to A, B and C also. After construction part, now we have to write the final step, that is proof. In proof, we will consider 2 different triangles. First triangle is OAP, while the second triangle is OBP. As we know, the tangent is always perpendicular on the radius, or in another word, we can say that radius is always perpendicular on the tangent. This is the property of the tangent. So here in proof, we will consider these 2 triangles. in triangle OAP and triangle OBP. So we have considered these two triangles. In this triangle, measurement of this angle is 90 degree. In this triangle, measurement of this angle is also equals to 90 degree. Since OA is perpendicular on AP, that's why measurement of this angle is 90. So we can take angle 1, this can be taken as angle 2. So here we write angle 1 is equals to angle 2 because both are equals to 90 degree. After that, here in this triangle we are having OA, in this triangle we are having OB. OA is equals to OB. OA and OB both are the radii of the same circle. That's why both are equal. So here is the reason we can write both are the radii of same circle. Radii of same circle. Now, OP is common in both the triangles. So here we write OP is equals to OP. These two are common. Here we write. So right hypotenuse and side in this triangle also right angle, hypotenuse and side from RHS triangle OAP is congruent to triangle OBP. So from RHS both the triangles will be congruent, and if two triangles are congruent, then by CPCT all the remaining part will also be equal. So PA part of this triangle we can write here, hence PA is equals to PB by CPCT. So this is proved. Now let us consider the next theorem. If two tangents are drawn to a circle, then they subtend equal angles at the center. Once again I am repeating the theorem. If two tangents are drawn to a circle, then the very first thing is that they subtend equal angles at the center. And the second point is they are equally inclined to the line segment joining the center to that point. So let us consider a circle, and suppose this is the external point P. From this point P we have drawn two tangents PA and PB. P and PB are two tangents drawn from the external point P. Then the very first thing that we have to prove that they subtend equal angles at the center. Suppose center of this circle is O, then we have to prove that PS and PB both are subtending equal angles at the center. So we have to join P to O, O to A and O to B also. So the very first thing that they are subtending equal angles at the center. So this angle is equals to this angle. We have to prove. Suppose the name of this angle is 1, name of this angle is 2. So the very first thing is that we have to prove that angle 1 is equals to angle 2. Second thing, they are equally inclined. Means this PA and PB both are equally inclined to the line segment joining the center to that point. Means measurement of these two angles are also equal. Suppose the measurement of this angle I have taken 3, this one I have taken 4. So we have to prove that angle 3 and angle 4 both are equal. So first of all, here we can write in the given PA and PB are two tangents drawn from the same external point P. PA and PB are two tangents drawn from same external point P. After given, we have tried to prove. 2, 2. Here we have to prove that both the tangents are subtending equal angles at the center. So angle 1 is equals to angle 2. We have to prove that angle 1 is equals to angle 2. And they are equally inclined to the line segment joining the center to that point. Hence angle 3 is equals to angle 4. This also we have to prove. After to prove, we have to write the final step, that is called proof. In proof, again we will consider these two triangles. First triangle is OAP while second triangle is OBP. As I said, the OA is always perpendicular on PA. Radius is always perpendicular on the tangent. So here we can write in triangle OAP and triangle OBP. OP is common in both the triangles, so we can write here OP is equals to OP because these two are both are the common. Now OA and OB both will be equals. OA is equals to OB because these two are the radii of the same circle. Here we can write radii of the same circle. After that, measurement of PA and PB will be equal. PA is equals to PB. PA equals to PB. Just now we have proved that the length of tangents drawn from the same external point are equal. Means measurement of PA and PB both will be equals because these two are the length of tangents drawn from the same external point. So here PA equals to PB. Here we can write the reason. Length of tangents drawn from the same external points are equal. Tangents drawn from same external point. After that, here we are having this side is equal to this side is common, this side is equal to this side. So by SSS, side, we can say that triangle OAP is congruent to triangle OBP. Since both the triangles are congruent, hence after congruency we can say that angle 1 is equals to angle 2. Angle 1 is equals to angle 2 by CPCT. Corresponding part of congruent triangle. Now second one, angle 3 is equals to angle 4. Angle 3 is equals to angle 4 again by CPCT. So these two are proved. This theorem can be proved as the previous theorem also by RHS, means right, hypotenuse and side also. That is also correct. If we are using SSS, then it is correct. If we are using RHS, then also it is correct. We can prove it by using any method.